Hi, my name is Dan Hammer, and I want to welcome you to our marketing strategy as it applies to social media. I'm going to introduce a recorded presentation that we did on one of our training sessions, and I'm doing this for a couple reasons. One, the information's great. It's going to help you understand how to leverage social media. And secondly, to help you understand that these are the types of training programs that we do on Saturday mornings. These are all designed to help improve your skill sets so that you can be more effective in acquiring customers to create cash flow to help grow your synergy business, as well as create volume on your Tracking Center 1 so that you can be Elite Honors qualified. Build your business story, because as you create income for your synergy business, you're creating a business story. People that you've helped bless lives with better health, as well as helping people understand that they can have a profitable home-based business, and you have a systematic approach to growing your synergy business using our 10-10 Club to be able to do that. So you've got a story that you can share with people. And again, they just need to understand that they have to market themselves. And as I've shared in other videos, all marketing is letting people know what you're doing. Either email or by the phone or one-on-one presentations or using social media platforms. Now, I'm no expert on this, so I'm only going to share with you what I know about Facebook. And Facebook does change its parameters, so you always need to stay updated on what Facebook is doing. But these are basic guidelines that if you're going to want to begin to attract an audience through social media and through Facebook, then here are some good do's that you can do and don'ts that you don't want to do to help you be successful in this area. So with that said, we're going to transition into a pre-recorded call from one of our training sessions. Thank you, and I hope this is beneficial to you.
All right, I want to welcome everyone to our live webinar. We have a lot to cover tonight, and I would certainly suggest that if you have a pen and paper, take some notes. And we're talking about marketing techniques, and tonight it's going to be social media engagement and how to create engaging posts on Facebook. Facebook is the major social media marketing tool out there. There's certainly other ones that are out there like Pinterest, and I've never done anything with regards to Instagram. And so what I shared tonight, you can most likely adapt to the other platforms, but we want to help you understand how you can start doing social media marketing on Facebook to be able to gain a following, as well as be able to attract customers and business builders. And when we look at this, there's more to it than just engaging posts. There's also understanding how you need to brand yourself, and also there's specific connection techniques to friend your target audience. I didn't put find your target audience, that's part of it. You want to be able to find and friend your target audience. And because of this, we're going to do 2 additional videos that I'll be doing. They'll be located in the appendix section of our Synergy Family Business Plan. And when we look at branding, we're going to be looking at what is your personal profile, the banner that you're using, what you have in your About section, your contact information, your story. And when we get into this section called Specific Connection Techniques to Find Your Target Audience, I'm going to teach you the Russell Brunson, the secret formula. Who, where, what, how. Who is your audience? Where are they located? What's your bait, which is the easiest thing. You're going to bait the hook in different ways, but it's all going to be around either your nitric oxide therapy ebook or when the microbiome product line gets launched, the microbiome ebook. And then you're going to need to understand how to engage them. Again, that's all going to be located in the appendix section of our Synergy Family Business Plan. So for tonight in engaging posts, what I want to do is I want to help you understand the overall strategy. I want to help you understand that storytelling is the way to go, the do's and the don'ts, what we call the 80-20 rule, a suggested content map, and then give you some examples of things that I've been doing so that you can use them as maybe templates that you can be able to do yourself. So here's the overall strategy. First, learn how to frame everything that you do on Facebook in relationship to an overall marketing strategy. So you want to be able to have an overall marketing framework. And for us in the United States and Canada, the suggested one that we have for you is what we call the Million Lives Project. helping 1 million people or more understand how they could effectively use nitric oxide therapy or microbiome research to significantly improve their overall health. Now that works really well for us here in the United States and Canada, but for David in the Hispanic community, it doesn't work as well. So what we did for David in the Hispanic community is we created the Chicago Hispanic Health Initiative. And we've adapted some of the information so that it would resonate with the Hispanic population. For our team members that are in the Caribbean islands, specifically in Barbados, what we did is we created the Caribbean Islands Health Initiative. And on the Caribbean Islands Health Initiative, we want to be able to apply it to Barbados and all the other Caribbean island nations. And one of the things that we're doing is we created a postcard for them, what we call a pass-out card, that they can use to attract people to come to a live Tuesday night meeting, which is all about nitric oxide therapy. It has nothing to do with the business. Strictly addressing cardiovascular concerns and doing it naturally through nitric oxide therapy. So as we go through this process, understand that you can make adaptations, but you still want an overall marketing framework. Next week we're going to talk about your elevator speech, and we're going to teach you how to create an elevator speech for both acquiring a customer as well as attracting a business builder in the context of your overall marketing framework. I'm part of the Million Lives Project. And so we want you again to understand how you can begin to incorporate this Million Lives Project in everything that you're doing, because the people will buy into your mission, and your mission will resonate with a lot of people, both personally for their health as well as people who will want to join you in the mission, whether they join you in Synergy Worldwide or whether they join you in passing the information on to other people, and that information is branded to you. All that is going to do is create greater and greater exposure for you. Now, your purpose, everything that we're doing, the whole social media, what you're doing on Facebook from a social media standpoint, it's not to tell people about your life. It's about giving them information that will allow you to acquire customers and attract business builders to you. And as you develop your credibility, you want to put your credibility on social media to provide value. And the whole process is so that you can increase your likes by using fantastic content to develop relationships. That's your overall strategy. And as you do that, and as you learn how to do that extremely effectively, you're going to be able to see your ability to actually recruit people on Facebook, both as customers and as business builders, in a way that they'll want the information, they'll be pursuing you, and you'll be creating these relationships. Now, I found this, and I found it pretty funny for myself. This is not what we want to do. So let me read this. I'm trying to make friends outside of Facebook while applying the same principles. Therefore, every day I walk down the street and tell passerbys that what I've eaten, how I feel at the moment, what I have done the night before, what I will do later and with whom. I give them pictures of my family, my dog and me gardening, taking things apart in the garage, watering the lawn, standing in front of landmarks, driving around town, having lunch, and doing what anybody and everybody does every day. I also listen to their conversations, give them a big thumbs up, and tell them I like them. And it works just like Facebook. I already have 4 people following me, 2 police officers, a private investigator, and a psychiatrist. This is not what we want to be doing on your social media campaign. We want you to be able to not do these things and do the right things to be able to gain the audience that you want, be able to attract people to you because you have great content and great value, and you're solving their problems. So storytelling is the best form of marketing. Facts tell, stories sell. If you've been in network marketing, you most likely have heard that forever. Facts tell, stories sell. So you got to learn how to tell stories. So how do you do that? Well, understand that people buy outcomes. They don't buy information unless that information can deliver an outcome. So when you're looking at outcomes, you want to look at the before and after. What was the pain or problem that the person had? How is their life going to be better? And what great marketing does is it articulates the move from the before state to the desired after state. And as we go through tonight, I'll give you some examples of what that might look like. You want to paint a vision. So you want to write copy about how a customer will feel, how their average day will change, how their status will elevate. So let's use an example. Maybe you've got a client who's high blood pressure. And as you begin to work with that client, they're on 4 different medications. So I would begin to talk to that client. So how do you feel on those 4 medications? Physically, how do you feel? Well, here are my side effects. And I would be taking notes. And then, how do you feel about having to take the medication? What does it do to you psychologically? And then I would take some notes. And then as I worked with that individual and helped them apply nitric oxide therapy and see that their blood pressure comes down naturally because their medication wasn't actually helping them, and they're now into the normal range and they've been able to work with their physician and be able to get off of the medications, I would continue to talk to my client and find out, okay, how has your life changed now that you're off of those medications? You know, physically, do you have those same symptoms that you had before? How do you feel mentally now that you don't have to take those medications? And then what you do is you begin to create a story around that. You know, I have a customer, we'll call the customer Will. I have a customer named Will, and if Will gives me permission to use it, great. If he doesn't give me permission, then I won't use Will's name. I'll just say, I've got a customer who was on 4 blood pressure medications, hated taking them every day because of the way it made him feel, anxious, just sometimes drained him of his energy. As far as what happened in his sex life, nothing, which is a common problem to high blood pressure medications. But as he applied nitric oxide therapy and began to see his blood pressure come under control by doing something naturally, he was able to work with his physician and in the course of 6 months be able to eliminate every one of his medications. Now he no longer hates going to his cupboard because he doesn't have to take those medications. He doesn't have the side effects. He's not anxious like he was before. In fact, he's got better mental clarity and he's not lacking energy. And it's improved his sex life. He thanks me every time that he calls me to reorder the product that has helped him apply nitric oxide therapy. If you're interested in what he did or what my client did, send me a direct message and I'll be more than happy to share with you our nitric oxide therapy ebook, which is part of our Million Lives project. And thankfully, this client of mine is 1 person out of 1,000,000 that we've been able to help. Now, I just created that on the fly. I don't have any notes in front of me, but as you begin to understand how to storytell, this will get easier and easier and easier for you to do because people like stories. And when you can paint a story in a before and an after with feelings and changes, people who are dealing with the same issue that you've either gained as an audience through your Facebook, social media efforts, or as you've found people in the ponds that you're fishing and introduced them to nitric oxide therapy and the Million Lives Project and your mission, and they're now liking you and following you, if they have those same issues, that story is going to resonate with them and they're going to want to contact you for more information specific to how you help this individual. Use a question. Write copy that starts with a question. How would your day change if you didn't have to take your high blood pressure medication? And then I could share that same story. If I've got that story and I shared it this week, maybe 4 weeks from now, I would share that same story, little maybe tighter editing, but started off with a question. How would your day change if you didn't have to take your high blood pressure medication? Well, let me share with you what had happened to one of my clients who applied nitric oxide therapy, and through the use of this natural process was able to eliminate his high blood pressure medication. And then you share the story. So you have storylines. You have loss and redemption. You have us versus them. You have before and after. You have amazing discovery. I just found this amazing piece of information about nitric oxide therapy and how it specifically addresses this issue, whatever it might be. Secret telling. Why is the pharmaceutical company keeping the information about nitric oxide therapy a secret, especially since this information won the Nobel Prize in 1998? See, when you begin to think in terms of what kind of storylines can you do, loss and redemption, us versus them. So a loss and redemption might be something like, I lost my dad at the age of 68. He had a massive heart attack. He didn't see my daughter Sarah past the age of 3. Now at the time, I never knew anything about nitric oxide therapy. But I've discovered it through the Million Lives Project. I read the information, and I firmly believe that if I had had this information back in I can't remember the date that my dad died, but whatever the year was, I firmly believe that if I could have shared this information with my dad, he would have at least lived long enough to see his granddaughter graduate from college. So again, it's a story. It's creating an interest. It's using things that have happened in your life and how it would have changed if you had this information, or how it could have changed the life of other people. You know, I thought about doing something with regards to Carrie Fisher, who just died of a massive heart attack. If she had been applying nitric oxide therapy, maybe she wouldn't have experienced what she experienced. So again, it's using these types of storylines, third-person testimonials. So here are some do's and don'ts, and let's cover the don'ts. Don't spam. You don't like spam, other people don't like spam, so don't spam. Don't tag people that are not in your photo. I get this all the time. I'll get a Facebook message that I've been tagged in a photo. Typically I ignore those, but a lot of times when I go to look at them, I can't find myself in that photo. I'm nowhere near in that. I don't even know some of those people in that photo. All they're doing is tagging to get me to go look at what they're doing. So don't tag people that are not in your photo. Do not be constantly pitching. Do not post negative feelings. If you don't like President Obama and you're glad that he's leaving office, don't post it. If you don't like President-elect Trump and he's coming into office, don't post it. Don't bash the competition. And don't post games that you're playing, and don't talk about your company in the context of trying to recruit. Talk about your company in the context of nitric oxide therapy. I was just in Spanish Fork, Utah at Nature Sunshine's facility, which is the parent company for Synergy Worldwide, where they make the best L-arginine supplement in the world, at least according to the physician's desk reference, and I also personally believe that too. And I was absolutely amazed. I've been there 5 times. This is my 6th time there, and I'm still amazed at all the steps that they do to make sure that the product that they deliver will always meet label claims and deliver a derived benefit, which I've been able to use through nitric oxide therapy to help a huge amount of my clients see improved cardiovascular health. So what are some do's? Post relevant images. Be authentic. People want to know who you are, so be who you are. If you like to tell stories, if humor is really important to you and you've got some good jokes that are clean and will make people laugh, or pictures that are funny, that are PG or G rated, maybe you can go to PG-13 occasionally. Great, do those things. Always provide value. Always share experiences. Use team photos and events in relationship to the mission. I just had the chance to meet, I was with Donald Clark and myself, and we had an opportunity to meet Dr. Matthew Tripp at the Hughes Center for Research and Innovation. What an impressive individual Dr. Tripp is, and his passion to be able to create products that are peer-reviewed with clinical studies that directly address significant health issues that people are facing today. And I can't wait for the microbiome product line to come on board so that I can start sharing with you information on how you can restore your gut health and improve your overall health and wellness. Again, take those photos and events and be able to shape them as a narrative storyline in relationship to your overall marketing framework, the Million Lives Project, or the nitric oxide therapy, or the microbiome. Get personal. If there's something that happens that is important to your mission, and it causes you to be angry about what occurred, go ahead and share it. So here's an example. Just recently, the medical community has changed the guidelines for the use of statin drugs. Before, the use of statin drugs was tied to your cholesterol level. Now, they're tying it to your potential for risk factors for cardiovascular disease over the next 10 years. And if I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 risk factors, then they want you on statin drugs. Now, I find that to be offensive. I find that as a manipulation by the drug industry to be able to try and sell more statin drugs to people. So how could you put that into your Facebook community? How many people feel that the use of statin drugs is overused? Please comment below. And then the next day, you come back and say something to the effect, thank you for everyone that responded. Here's why I asked this question. The government has changed the guidelines for the use of statin drugs and now are requiring, or they're asking doctors that if you have 1 or 2 risk factors for cardiovascular disease over the next 10 years, they want you on a statin drug. It seems to me like all the government wants to do, the medical community, the pharmaceutical company, is continue to get us on more and more drugs, medications. How many people out there feel the same way? And then just see what happens in your Facebook community and what kinds of people respond. And then as they respond, answer their responses and talk about it in relationship to your mission. Yeah, Joe, I completely agree with you in that it just seems like there's more and more drugs being pushed on us, when if people understood nitric oxide therapy and how it's a natural way to address their cardiovascular health issues, especially when they understand that you can reverse the inflammation that's in the vascular system. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can go on this, that you can provide value to the person that you're responding to, and people who are looking at you on Facebook can see that you know what you're talking about, and that stuff resonates with them. So here's the 80-20 rule. 80 to 90% of your posts need to be posts that provide value. And 10 to 20% of your posts should be a call to action, which is different from a pitch. A pitch is, I want you to buy products from me. A call to action is getting them to go to or wanting to get your ebook, your nitric oxide therapy ebook, or when the microbiome ebook is available, the microbiome ebook, or connecting with you on something. I'll explain what that means in just a second. So here's some things that you can do to create that 80 to 90% of value of the things that you post on your Facebook. Inspirational quotes, life experiences, update what you're doing in relationship to the Million Lives Project, in relationship to nitric oxide therapy. I was able to be at a meetup group yesterday in Schaumburg, and I was given the opportunity to help people understand how nitric oxide therapy could naturally address most cardiovascular health issues. And at that meeting, there were 3 people that had high blood pressure. And so I was able to share with them how nitric oxide therapy helped several of my high blood pressure clients take their blood pressure from such and such a range to such and such a range. So again, life experiences, update what you're doing in relationship to nitric oxide therapy or the Million Lives Project or whatever, your overall writing framework. Images, images, and images. People like looking at images, and you can tie an inspirational quote to an image, funny pictures, videos. Try and post at least 2 per week. I'll help you understand where you can find them. Blogs, you don't have to be blogging. You can be posting other people's blogs as long as the information is valuable and it's related to the mission statement, the Million Lives Project, helping people understand how to apply nitric oxide therapy, or even just to benefit their health, because that's the overriding aspect of the Million Lives Project. Random and strategic questions. Great resources. If you come across a great resource or great knowledge, share them. Share someone's story and remind people of your mission. Now, what are the 10 to 20% call to action? Local meetings, conference calls. I'm going to this Friday, not this Friday the 20th, but next Friday the 27th, they have a Healthy West Chicago group. And they're meeting at the ARC Center, which is the facility in the Park District for working out, basketball, and that types of things, sports activities. And they're meeting there. So you could do something. I'm going to Healthy West Chicago on Friday the 27th to learn more about their mission to get people in West Chicago healthy. Anyone want to join me? There's my call to action. Photos of your team, photos of you with your team, again in the context of the Million Lives Project. Raise curiosity with a question. Would you like to know how I overcame my pre-diabetic condition? Send me a direct message. Or you could do, would you like to know how I overcame my high blood pressure? I learned how to use nitric oxide therapy. Send me a direct message. You can try them both different ways. Promote a nitric oxide therapy webinar. What's in it for them? Promote a microbiome webinar. What's in it for them? I'll be talking to you most likely not next week, because we're going to be looking at elevator speeches next week. But most likely the first Wednesday in February, I'm going to present to you an idea to revamp what we're doing online on Tuesday nights, where we'll do a straight up live webinar strictly on nitric oxide therapy, helping people understand nitric oxide therapy. So how does this look like from a rhythm standpoint, a suggested content map? Well, post Monday through Fridays. If you want to post on Saturdays and Sundays, I'll leave that up to you. I personally don't want to post on weekends. Post Monday through Friday at least twice per day, so that means that you're going to do a minimum of 10 posts per week. We've given you suggestions. This is being recorded. Be able to see this and create what you want to create. These are just suggestions to you. But what I would suggest is choose a weekly theme. Okay, I'm going to focus on high blood pressure this week. Next week, I'm going to focus on diabetes. Following week, I'm going to focus on cholesterol. Fourth week, I'm going to focus on athletic performance. And lay this out at least 4 weeks at a time. Just what you're going to cover in your theme. My suggestion is you use the weekend where you spend an hour to 2 hours laying out your content. Okay, if I'm going to do high blood pressure, what content do I want regarding high blood pressure? And the reason why I suggest this is because you're going to most likely see the same thing happen to you that happened to me this week. I have great intentions to post, but too many things happen, and because I didn't set myself up for success and trying to think, okay, I've got to go post this, but I've got this other pressing issue, and I let the other things get in my way, so I've gone 2 days now without posting on Facebook. If you're going to use this as a strategy to build on Facebook and be able to fish in the ponds where people are at that you want to attract, then you have to be consistent. And if you use the weekend to lay out your 10 posts with your graphics that you might want to use, then all you have to do is when you wake up in the morning is post, or at lunchtime post. It's already done for you. You already have it. You don't have to think it and develop it. It's already done. You know, I'm going to post this on Monday and Tuesday. These items are going on Wednesdays and Thursdays. This item's going on Fridays. I've got my whole thing laid out for me. And if you do that, you're going to find your success of being consistent, of delivering great content, that people will be looking to want to follow you because you are providing value, and it's not repetitive value, it's information that speaks. So you can even tell them at the beginning of the week, this week we're going to talk about how nitric oxide therapy applies to high blood pressure. I'll give you an example.
Now, before I give you the example, I'm actually breaking into the presentation that was done on Wednesday night. At the end of the presentation, Judy Feldhausen had a great suggestion. She uses Hootsuite to manage all her social media. Hootsuite allows her to put up all the posts and all the things that she wants to do on their platform, and you can schedule it out, and that's what she does. I've actually gone into Hootsuite. I've gotten my free plan. There's a paid version, but I would suggest that you start out with the free plan. It allows you to put up 3 social media platforms. For me, I've got 3 Facebook accounts. I've got my Dan Hammer Health, I have our Synergy Family, and I also have Healthy at 60 Plus. So I'm going to use Hootsuite to understand how I can do exactly what we talked about in the previous slide presentation about scheduling out your post. I'll be using Hootsuite so that I can effectively post all the information I want to for the upcoming week by taking a couple hours on a Saturday or a couple hours on a Sunday to go into Hootsuite, create all my posts, schedule all my posts, and then it's all done for me automatically, and I don't have to worry about it during the week's time. As I get proficient of this, I do have a Twitter account, but I don't do much on Twitter. But when you go and understand the power of what Hootsuite provides for you, you can understand that if you do have these other social media platforms, like I have a LinkedIn platform, I have a Twitter platform, I don't effectively use them. I don't engage the way that I could to be able to do what? Create interest. And in that interest, call to action. Call to action, get my nitric oxide therapy ebook, or once the Microbiome Research ebook, I can do the same thing with that. So I can use all these other platforms to be able to create additional interest over and above what I can accomplish through Facebook, and have it all hosted and organized and laid out on Hootsuite. There's a couple tutorial videos that you can do. You can, if you want to see what this looks like before you actually get a Hootsuite account, just go to YouTube and enter the search term Hootsuite Beginner Tutorial. There'll be plenty that will come up. This is the one that I watched. The important thing is watch a couple of these, or watch one of them, so that you can see the power. Do not get overwhelmed by the amount of information that you see in front of you.
what I suggest is just get the free version of Hootsuite. If you do, it's free. They have a video tutorial that will walk you through how to set up your account. And like anything, your experience will help you become more proficient at what you're doing. I know for me, it looks like, okay, there's a lot of things here, but again, take it one step at a time. Get the free account, watch their video tutorial, set up one channel only, maybe 2 channels, whatever you want to do, but don't go beyond your 3, and then begin to learn how to schedule out your posts onto your channels, whether it be all Facebook or Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, however you want to organize that. You've got 3 channels in which to experiment and begin to learn, and don't worry about making mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. It's okay. I'll tell you, if it's on Twitter, if they don't see it in that minute and a half, it's gone forever. So it just really doesn't matter. You've got to do it. You've got to learn. You'll get better. Watch video tutorials so that you can see how people are doing things. You can begin to apply those things. You can learn. If there's another person on your team that's actually doing the same thing, where you're both are going to do this Facebook marketing strategy with effective posts that have great content with good call to actions to interest people in your nitric oxide therapy ebook or your microbiome ebook once that becomes available. Work together, learn together, follow each other. Maybe the person that's in your organization that's doing the same thing has some tremendous posts that they put up there. Nothing wrong with sharing it, borrowing it, learning from it, adapting it. All this is all about learning how other people have been successful doing these things, and then seeing how you can take what they've done and adapt it and apply it so that you can also utilize it for success. Now let's return you back to the presentation, the recorded presentation on Wednesday night, so that you can see some examples of Facebook posts that I put up to help you understand this process of what we call storytelling. So here's some examples that you can look at. This first one is how I started to frame my overall marketing framework on Facebook. Welcome to 2017 and the start of a new year. We're committed to posting new material on our Facebook page each day, Monday through Friday, and it starts with the Million Lives Project. Our goal is to get into the hands of 1 million people or more valuable information on how they can naturally improve their health through nitric oxide therapy or microbiome research or other health information. Please join us in the Million Lives Project by sharing this valuable information with others. That's my call to action. If a video or article or other information resonates with you, then please share it on all your social media platforms. It's my call to action. Well, I basically told them what I want to be doing. Now I have to be consistent in this. So I posted a couple things. Here's an example of a post highlighting a blog article. Happens to be one of mine since I blog. And one of the simplest ways to improve your health and the health of others is through random acts of kindness. There are health benefits for both the giver and the receiver. This article will help you understand how everyone benefits. And so it doesn't have anything to do with nitric oxide therapy. It doesn't have anything to do with the microbiome, but it does help them improve their health. Or I have this other one here. Here's an example of a post that combines a quote, a video, and all tied to the Million Lives Project. High blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for heart disease. On page 24 of the book, No More Heart Disease, Dr. Ignaro states, quote, more people visit their doctor's office for hypertension, high blood pressure, than for any other reason, end of quote. He goes on to say, quote, and another 26% are taking blood pressure lowering medications, all of which have side effects, but still do not have their hypertension under control, end of quote. As part of the Million Lives Project, we produced a new video titled, How Nitric Oxide Therapy Addresses High Blood Pressure. This can be a natural way to address this cardiovascular concern. Here's the video, and if you find the information helpful, then please share it on all your social media platforms. I threw in a call to action, as well as I reminded people of the Million Lives Project, as well as I've got a video, as well as I've got a quote. So again, it's a storyline put into a narrative that incorporates several different things that are going on. Here's a post that I put up highlighting David Munoz and his achievement of being a team elite, or I'm sorry, lead honors qualified, and how he's used nitric oxide therapy, how he changed. I want to congratulate David Munoz on being elite honors qualified for the 18th time. How has David been so consistent in achieving this goal? Question. When you ask a question, the mind demands an answer. He has changed his marketing strategy to focus on nitric oxide therapy and built a large customer base of happy product users. His new customers and reorders from preferred customers guarantee his ability to be elite honors qualified each month. We teach you how in the new Our Synergy Family Business Plan. Now, what I could have done to make this better would have included a link to the business plan. And then I've got one last example to show you how I posted using a testimonial tying several other things with a call to action. On Monday, we kicked off the Million Lives Project, which is helping 1 million people or more understand how nitric oxide therapy could help them naturally address their cardiovascular concerns. On Tuesday, we highlighted Nobel Prize-winning information from Dr. Louis Ignarro on how this nitric oxide therapy could be used to help with blood pressure. Today, I'd like to share how one of my clients benefited from the application of nitric oxide therapy. My client had high blood pressure with a reading of 160/90. There was a decision to be made. Go on medication to treat the high blood pressure, or try nitric oxide therapy first to see if this would help. My client decided to try nitric oxide therapy, and within 90 days, the blood pressure readings had gone from 160/90 to 112/68, a remarkable improvement that continues to this day. No need for medications and no more worry about blood pressure issues. As long as my client continues to nourish the lining of the vascular system with the ingredients it needs to optimize its ability to create nitric oxide. If you or anyone you know has high blood pressure concerns, then please direct message me on Facebook. I have a fantastic nitric oxide therapy ebook that will help you understand how this could be a natural way to address this cardiovascular concern. When you direct message me, make sure to include your email address so that I can send you the PDF for this ebook. So again, you might shape it a different way. All these are just examples to give you a feeling for how to start putting your information in the context of a story and being able to use different things that are attractive to people in a narrative and combining it sometimes with a call to action. Now, the last thing before we take any questions from anyone that's on the call tonight is use resources like the following to gain ideas for posts. Use Google. Articles on nitric oxide and high blood pressure. I guarantee if you put that into a Google search, you'll find a ton of articles. And then you can go through them and find something that you like, and if it's a great article. I was searching last night for some information that I could share with you regarding nitric oxide therapy and high blood pressure, and I came across this fantastic post. Here's the link. That's all you need to say. You do the same thing for videos. Videos on nitric oxide and high blood pressure. Following week, you're going to focus on diabetes. Articles on nitric oxide and diabetes. Videos on nitric oxide and diabetes. Following week is going to be athletic performance. Articles on nitric oxide and athletic performance. Videos on nitric oxide and athletic performance. So you can do plenty of Google searches to find information on your Saturday and Sunday that you're going to spend to lay out your 10 posts. You can Google inspirational health quotes and you'll get a ton of them. Use the book No More Heart Disease. If you don't have it, get it, read it. And as you read it, highlight things. That's what I did. I knew I was going to go to high blood pressure, so I just went to not the index, what is it, the back of the book. Can't remember what they call the back of the, maybe that is the index. Anyways, I looked up high blood pressure in the back of the book, found the pages that Dr. Ignarro talked about high blood pressure, went to those pages. That's where I found my quotes. The Microbiome Solution, if you're going to focus on the microbiome solution, that's the best book to get. And be able to, again, read the book to educate yourself. And as you educate yourself, highlight things that you think would be great for posts. Anyone have any questions on what I've shared tonight?
Hi, Dan. Great information. This is Dave.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, a great nugget that you just shared with us is that the book No More Heart Disease has that maybe a glossary in the back or reference information regarding, you mentioned high blood pressure. And I would think that the book has the same thing regarding strokes and regarding maybe diabetes.
Yep. Yeah, David, I've got the book right in front of me, and it's called an index. And yes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, strokes, blood sugar, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stress, anxiety, loneliness, depression. Yeah, absolutely. It's a wealth of information.
Thanks for sharing that, Dan, because that's the biggest nugget I got, because I'm going to go to the Spanish version, which I also have. And I'm sure that same index is there, and it would be just a great resource to quote and just post random relevant quotes on Facebook as just a regular post, and of course it's coming straight from an expert in the topic. So
yeah,
look that up. Thank you.
Yeah, and I've got the Microbiome Solution book on my desk here, and again, the same thing, index at the back of the book. And you know, I'm not an expert yet on the microbiome. This is a little bit more complicated than what nitric oxide therapy is, but yeah, there's just a wide range of things that you can use.
I also appreciate the idea, Dan, about the comedy. Just once in a while, don't make it, I know, overwhelming, but certainly I found, as you were talking, I just happened to go into Google and I said, heart health comedy comics, and I found several of them, which I posted one of them on my Facebook page even while we're talking, so thanks for that.
Yeah.
Great ideas. Great ideas.
Yeah, isn't it amazing that if you just think in terms of searches, you can go to Google and type that keyword phrase in, and it's just amazing what things come up. You could most likely even do images for inspirational health quotes, and Google will give you a list, show you all the different images that are out there, the people that have already taken inspirational health quotes and put them into an image form.
So Dan?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Awesome, because I'm driving and wanted to make sure I plugged in today. So this is Judy, and when you're talking about your Facebook posts and getting them all planned for the week, what I like to do, and have not recently, but I think I'm going to go back to that, is you can actually schedule your posts. There are some free apps that you can use that once you have them all set up, you can put them into your scheduler, and you can actually schedule on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Google Plus with these free apps. And so on Saturday and Sunday, when you're doing that, you just do it, schedule it, and then you can walk away, so you don't have to remember every day to do your post.
Great idea. I'll see if I can't do some searching for some tools like that. Thank you, Judy. That was excellent.
And when I get home, Dan, I'll try to remember to send you the app that I use. That is absolutely wonderful.
Okay, that would be great. Excellent. Thank you, Judy, for sharing that. Anyone else have anything that you would like to share, comment on, or ask questions before we say goodnight?
Thanks a lot, Dan. You give some very good information on how a person can use Facebook. Now, I know that one can use Facebook, but some of the points you gave really prove that two heads are better than one. I had never thought about those. Those I can implement almost immediately. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Joseph. Appreciate you staying up to be on the call tonight, the live webinar. And again, for some people, Facebook is maybe not the place that they want to be marketing on. That's fine too. This is just for people who want to know how to effectively use this. And there's a couple more pieces to this. I'll be doing a separate video on branding so that you can understand how to properly brand yourself, so that when a person does come to your Facebook page, they're not turned off, that they're actually engaged and they really like what they see. And then the other thing is, how do you begin to attract people to want to friend you? How to fish into those ponds and how to effectively engage them where they want to follow you and be a part of this. So that'll be a separate video too.
Great.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else before we say goodnight?
Hello, Dan. It's Donald.
Yes, Donald.
Like the others indicated, excellent nuggets in tonight's webinar. One of the things I do is I get emails from WebMD and the Mayo Clinic, and they do have some excellent topics on these subjects, which I think I might have shared. Not I might have. I shared with you and David recently. So yeah, excellent webinar.
Yeah, I mean, I get WebMD all the time, and right there, that as you were talking, Donald, that just sparked my interest, because a lot of times they'll give a thing how you can address high blood pressure, and I can guarantee you that they never talk about nitric oxide, and right there becomes a blog post. Hey, I just got this from WebMD in my email, and they're talking about how you can address high blood pressure. And while the information that they share is useful, why is it that they never talk about nitric oxide therapy and how the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to 3 American researchers who discovered nitric oxide as a natural way to address high blood pressure? So again, you can there's so many ways that you can use this. As you get into the rhythm of this type of storytelling, you'll be thinking about, always carry a pen and paper with you, because you'll have ideas that will come to you while you're driving. Don't try and write them down while you're driving, but pull into a parking lot and write your ideas on a piece of paper, because they become great places to go onto Facebook and share. I was driving to such and such a place, and I heard on the radio, and immediately I got angry because they never talked about nitric oxide therapy. It's the natural way to address the health issue of high blood pressure, and never once did they talk about this. I mean, there's just so many different things that as you walk through life and you think in terms of the Million Lives Project and how you can be helping 1 million people or more understand how they could naturally improve their health, ideas will just begin to flow. And write them down, and then begin to take those things, so that when you do take your time, the 1 to 2 hours, to plan out your next week and what you're going to do, or maybe an idea doesn't apply yet. Maybe you heard something on diabetes and you're not going to do diabetes until 3 weeks down the road. At least you've got it there in your notes, and you can pull it out, and it already gives you one solid post as nitric oxide therapy applies to diabetes. I mean, just talking like this is stimulating, at least for me, in terms of ideas. Anyone else? Thank you, Donald. Anyone else before we say goodbye? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I appreciate the comments. And next Wednesday night, we're going to talk about effective elevator speeches in the context of the Million Lives Project, or with regards to David, in the context of the Chicago Hispanic Health Initiative, or our Barbados friends, the Caribbean Islands Health Initiative. So, talk to you next Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.